Hey guys, Czar here. Hope all is well and trust you're having a good morning so far. It is Monday, so happy Monday to you, August the 12th. We are about 1 minute away from the New York Open here. As always, very boring approach to trading here, guys. Simple stuff, but not easy, that's for sure. This is the Three Sisters 1 minute charts, as you probably know. NASDAQ, S&P, and Dow from left to right, with VWAP, volume weighted average price, there in the middle. This is for the future session, so it goes way back to 6 p.m. last night Eastern Standard Time. And we have the 2.5 standard deviation bands here as well, above and below the volume weighted average price. We are about to open here in about 13 seconds or so, and we will I will be very patient here on the open, as I typically am in the morning here on the open, but also because it's Monday, and it's Monday after a really interesting period. Let's go take a look at the daily chart to get a snapshot of that interesting period where we've had a rampaging bull market, 7 out of 9 weeks hitting all-time highs, and then topping here on July 11th on all three. There's July 16th actually on the S&P. It was a little bit later, and then July 18th was the ultimate top for the Dow, selling off 17% here or more on the NASDAQ from peak to trough down here at the bottom of this wick. And now we've got a bit of rallying going on within reason, I suppose we can call it rallying. Certainly on Thursday. Friday was a bit more sloppy, messy, and rangy, but we did break the Thursday high. We now have inside action, although we also overnight did break the high of Friday here on this Monday for the NASDAQ. We did the same thing, almost identical configuration, in fact, on the S&P. So there's a fairly broad-based move in this regard. Whatever this regard is, this thing you're seeing here is consistent across the NASDAQ and the S&P, in something fairly similar on the Dow here. The Dow 30 industrial stocks price-weighted index inside day here after a sort of a doji style day on Friday. So a little less decisive here on the Dow, but we're watching all three of these. Certainly the instrument of choice for me, which is the NASDAQ. And there it is, guys. We're now into the second 1 minute candle of the open range here. Inside the open range on the NASDAQ, that's the 1 minute open range for those who are new. Inside, dropping down though a little bit on the S&P, and below the open range, just marginally now back inside on the Dow. So not much going on here, guys. As is typical on Monday, I am going to give it a bit more time to play out here and not just jump all over stuff just because stuff happens to be playing out. Let's go over to the power grid, shall we? That's my trading grid. This is what it looks like. Daily chart in the top left, 30-minute chart in the bottom left, and then a 1, 2, or 3 minute chart on the right-hand side. Right now it's a 1 minute chart. I'm going to drop down to the 30-second chart with this enhanced VIX action volatility. I've been starting off with a 30-second chart just to get a little more surgical precision in here in terms of what's going on, but it's always relative to the bigger picture, of course, and the high and the low of this open range is a fairly important part of my decision-making process here on the open session. I'll put you on pause, guys, cut out dead air, sideways grinding action, non-teaching moments, things of that nature, and keep this video nice and tight. But I'll put you on pause now, and I'll bring you back if and when anything happens here. And I'm going to give this some time to play out and shake out before making any important decisions. And nothing going on here, guys. Indecisive 30-minute range here, guys, and really struggling to get over and stay over the high of Friday. One mistake a lot of newer traders make on the market open here is to automatically buy just because we get a big, shift candle above the open range that closes strong, and they just kind of react and say, well, it's going higher, I got to get in on this. And very often that's premature. Not always. Sometimes you get lucky, and then of course it just goes flying higher and you have a really nice outcome. But especially with these meandering EMAs, this is a 30-second chart, by the way, just kind of wrapped around. That's a range-bound marker right there, right? All right, guys, watching price action here. While I'm doing this in the 30-minute chart, I'm now going to bracket this area right here Can I see this contained action from the UK session? We may weaken here and then get down into this less important Asian stuff, the grind on an early Monday Asian session that I don't take as seriously. And if prices can get out of here, then we might be looking at something, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. NASDAQ being supported by the open range and by VWAP for now. Let's see if that changes right about now. All right, guys. Sell stop order right below that wick, right there. Stop above the open range. I think I'm going to get that in time. Yes, I am. I think this is worth a coin toss if, in fact, we break down there. We've had a little bit of a tug of war. This will be the low for the session, the New York session, of course. I'll be looking for 1R here. Still not shooting for those 2R targets yet. Even though we had this massive spike in VIX, it doesn't necessarily mean clean price action to targets. It just means a great increase in implied volatility. Here we go, guys. I'm in. I am in now. Give me one moment. Short the NASDAQ. Rejecting from the prior day's high after a marginal break. It's not a sudden rejection, but now with this renewed volume here coming in on New York and then fading down to the bearish side beyond that point that I just marked up a little bit earlier, contained action from the UK session and a lot of the Asian session, and now pushing down, resolving to the downside. But equally as importantly, guys, is what you're seeing here, this aligned, synchronized price action between all three indices, the three sisters. I'll bring you back here now. We'll watch this happen. So why am I short here, guys? Well, we've had a failed attempt to rally higher, a marginal break of Friday's high, and then rounding over, and that happened a little bit earlier in the pre-market. In fact, right here, you see that there? That's the high on the 30-minute chart, and then failing there, breaking down below prior 30-minute candles. This is a multi-candle break, right? So as we broke into the session lows here on the market open, below the 9, below 21, below open range, and below VWAP, with synchronized movement on all three indices, 1, 2, and 3. And that means that, you know, the participants are saying sell U.S. stocks, and then breaking below all of these 30-minute candles at the same time. That is a bearish picture for the market open play. Stop to break even now, guys, right there. I think we're not going to have any trouble hitting targets on this one. And there it is, guys. Thanks for being with me. That was nice and easy, pretty clean here, guys. It's only 9:42. We may come back for another trade, who knows? But it'll likely be in the morning only. Have an amazing day. Happy Monday to you. Have a great week.